Listen, the goal was never perfection, okay? The goal was peace and alignment, faith, and trust in all the things that God said about us and all the things that He wants for us. That is the goal. So today, we're going to talk about how to live reset for life. Don't scroll, don't skip. Just give me a couple of minutes of your time, and I promise you it'll be worth it. Okay, so everything that we talked about in all of these other videos, stillness, awareness, structure, rhythm, flow, all the things come down to one truth. One truth. One truth. And that is peace isn't something that you visit, that you just think of and it just happens and it's just going to be peaceful for the rest of your life. It's something that you build. And you build it around the gift of peace that God has given you. Jesus said, I give you peace, a peace that the world cannot give. Okay? The Bible talks about a peace that passes all understanding. That is the gift of peace that God has given us. But we have to build systems and structures around that gift in order to sustain it. And that is what I've been talking about in all these videos, okay? So, and the reason why I've been doing that is because most people, they live in cycles of reset and relapse. It's always, I'm going to reset, I'm going to start over, and then I relapse a couple of weeks, couple of months, couple of years later. Right? We change for a while, always at the beginning of the year, whether it's with a fasting or signing up for the gym or whatever it is. And then we drift back to our old habits. We pray for new beginnings, and then we forget to maintain the systems that are needed to make these things that we prayed for sustainable. And that includes the peace that we pray for, right? So the truth is, peace does not come from starting over and over and over and over every year with a fasting or whatever it is. It doesn't come with that. All the things that we're praying for, it doesn't come with starting over and over again. It comes with staying aligned with what God promised us. It comes with building those systems, that structure. Okay? You got that? So living reset. And what I mean living a reset, like once you do that first reset, and staying in that space is not about doing everything right. It's not about being right all the time with every decision you make. It's about doing the right things consistently. Okay? So, you don't need to chase a new revelation every month, right? You don't need a new preaching. You don't need a new sermon. You don't need all the new things. You just need to keep applying what you already know. Isn't that comforting? Isn't that comforting? I already know what I need. I already know what I need, and I just need to keep applying what I know, because that's how faith matures, right? That's how discipline becomes a lifestyle. So you've learned how to recalibrate, to get still, and to listen. That is the first part of our sessions. You've learned how to realignment, to build habits that hold, that are sustained, right? You learn how to steward. You've learned how to rebuild, to bring order, rhythm, and flow back to your life. So you've learned how to recalibrate, how to realign, and then we rebuild. And after that, now it's time to live it. Now it's time to live it. So living reset means that you stop seeing peace as a reaction and start treating it as your baseline. Okay? You stop waiting for chaos to make you pray. You stop needing burnout to make you rest. Let me say that again. Living reset means you stop seeing peace as a reaction and start treating it as your baseline. You stop waiting for chaos to make you pray, and you stop needing burnout to make you rest. Okay? You start making alignment a habit. That's my baseline. That's my foundation. I get realigned back with God. So every day won't be perfect. Every day will not, definitely won't be perfect, but every day can be peaceful when you know how to return back to the center, return back to being aligned again. return back to that baseline. And that's what a reset lifestyle looks like. You breathe before you break. You pause before you panic. And you choose order before urgency. That's how that works. And when you fall off, because you are going to fall off, because I have fell off, we all fall off. God knows we fall off. You don't spiral. You don't spiral. You simply return back to the baseline, right? So peace is always waiting for you where you left it. God is always waiting where you left him, where you last met with him. He's always there. So we need to return back to him every single time we fall off, right? So this isn't necessarily about self-improvement. I'm not a guru and all of that. It's about really spiritual integration. It's about living as someone whose faith, body, and mind finally agree. You don't have to chase balance. You don't have to chase balance. You just have to maintain the flow. Steward the flow, create the atmosphere and steward it. And that's what this is all about. It might seem very, very simple, but I'm telling you, it can be difficult for some of us. But once you get into it, once you break it down to that 1%, like I talked about in the first video, and building those little habits and those small disciplines that actually become a system, a strategy for your life, then you start seeing that wonderful change. I'm telling you, it is totally and completely worth it. A lot of Christians fall off or they walk away because they think that transformation that was promised to them in the beginning happens overnight, and don't realize that it is a process. It is a process, and it is a lifestyle, and it's not about following a bunch of rules and laws and systems and all these other things. It's really about accepting the gifts that God has given us, receiving the promises, walking in faith, trusting God, accepting his love, and staying in alignment with him, and using him as our foundation and our baseline when things get a little tough. And that's all that is. And that helps us build a lifestyle that keeps us in alignment, keeps us being good disciples, followers of Christ, okay? And truly, truly being authentic in the way that we live for him and the way that we represent him to the world, and also giving us the peace and the blessings that we need to live a successful life in God. And that is the whole entire goal. So if that is what you want, I'm telling you, that is what you want. If that is what you want, and please just visit that link, and I hope that helps. So if you haven't, start from the beginning, watch the series of the videos, and I will see you in the next series. Right. Thanks so much. Connect with me. Bye-bye.